All right. So at this point, I'm going to put it on speaker view for the purpose of the recording. And I am so excited to introduce our speaker. Most of you know Jen. Most of you don't have really an idea of all the different things that she does in her life besides working full time, teaching mediation, and at a college level, having her own mediation business where they do workshops and train mediators. And she's on multiple nonprofits. She's our Mary Kay ambassador for the Mary Kay Foundation, and so much more. She personal trains at the Y. It's just always blows my mind everything that she fits into her schedule. And so she is the perfect one to teach tonight. And I gave her kind of a loose subject. So I'm going to let you take it away, Jennifer Poole. Let's give it up for Jennifer, consistent team leader.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, I kind of threw this together because I had a couple other deadlines last week that went along with that. But we are going to talk about racing to the deadline tonight. So, several of you have already mentioned this, but we all have goals, and all our goals are varying, but we have 4 weeks. Literally 4 weeks from today is the end of our Mary Kay year. So it says my screen sharing is paused. Can you guys see it?
There's not anything on this screen yet.
Well, heck, let's try this again. Let's see if it'll do it. Let's try it again. Why won't you do it? Let
I've
me
been
try
having
it again.
glitchy stuff. It feels like Mercury
I know.
retrograde.
Are we in retrograde? Let me try.
I think we have to
Well,
be. I have had like 5 people tell me about technology issues
Uh-huh.
today, and I
That's
had
what
them
it feels.
myself.
Yep.
So
Seems like
something's
every,
right.
happened.
yeah.
Nope, it's still not coming up. Well, that's really frustrating. All right, let me try one other way here.
It's solar flares.
Yes, it is. They are messing with us for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That work. I'm trying one other thing here. Let me see something. All right. What do you see now?
We see it. Goal
Anything?
setting. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're racing to the deadline, right? We've got 4 weeks. And when I think about 4 weeks, I often think about a relay race, right? You got four people on the Olympic relay race, but are you going to do a marathon? Are you going to do a sprint? Are you going to do a relay where you got 4 weeks to go or whatever along the way? What are you going to do with it? So we're going to talk about several techniques, and you guys already know all these techniques. We've been through them before, but the point here tonight is to get them all fresh in your mind again so that you have them all ready to roll and to talk about again, so that you can set these up and get you going for the next 4 weeks. So the first thing is goal setting. And Samantha was just talking about it. She's got goals. And Denise was talking about, here's where we are as a unit, but we want to get to, I think you said 450,000 is where we
Yes.
want to be, right?
Yes.
And then we're just right outside of Queens Court and we're just outside of DIQ. And, where are you personally at? We're all at various points. But the thing is for the next 4 weeks, what is your goal? It may be different as to where you were of July 1st of last year when we started this seminar year, but make sure your goal for the next 4 weeks is SMART. And we've been through these before, but make sure it's specific, make sure it's measurable, make sure it's achievable. Don't sit there and say, well, I haven't sold a penny yet, but I'm going to make Queens Court and sell $20,000 or $40,000 in the next 4 weeks, right? Make it achievable, make it relevant, and make it time bound. What can you do in the next 4 weeks, given where you're at now and where you want to be? Okay, so set realistic expectations with that. So avoid setting yourself up for failure. Now, we want you to stretch yourself beyond, what you truly think you can do. Stretch yourself a little bit further out than where you think you can be. I know Kelly's been doing that, Kelly Dart, because I've been in touch with her and she's like, I don't know that I'm going to make it this month. I don't know that I'm going to make it. And then, it comes to fruition. So stretch yourself a little bit further, but if your goal is to do that, $600 a week or something, now shoot for 700 a week or something, but don't shoot for 2,000 a week if you're normally shooting for 600. So be realistic in what those are. So, what's in the chat? Stretch it, you guys. Yes, Kelly says she knows. She's seeing it. Oops, clicking my buttons. Break down those tasks. So, how do you eat that elephant? One bite at a time, right? So divide those large projects into smaller ones that are more manageable. And we're going to talk about this in the next step too. But, if you were to look at, if I was to look at everything on my shelf right now and say, oh, I want to sell all this by the end of the month, it would be really daunting. But if I said, okay, I want to focus on skincare sets this week, and then follow up with people with color next week, and then focus on body, care, lotions and satin hands and all of that the next week. It's much more attainable if I market things that way, and I'm not overwhelming myself or my customers if I'm just like, blah, here's all the pink stuff, right? And throwing it at them. If I can make it my tasks and my approach broken down into smaller steps. Okay. Because again, we're trying to keep our sanity in this process too. Okay. We want to, did anybody see the girl from the National Track Championships this last weekend? It was on the news last night. She's a former gymnast and she was running the hurdles and she tripped on the very last hurdle. She was in the lead and she did 2 somersaults and came in first across the finish line with her 2 somersaults. Okay. So if we're going to fall across the finish line, we want to do it that way with some grace and somersaults and win in the end, right? We don't want to be exhausted at the end and fall at the end and not make it, right? We want to come in and be like, ta-da! We still did it with grace, right? And made it happen. It was beautiful. You should go Google it if you haven't seen it. It was really awesome. All right. So the next thing we need to look at in surviving our deadline and our rush to the deadline is our task prioritization and organization. So we want to identify those most important tasks and focus on them first. So some of you have multiple goals you're looking at. Again, Kelly hit Queen's Court today, but she's still in DIQ and, she's got some people she needs to recruit, but she still has goals to meet in regards to production. She's got several tasks she's got to get done, and she needs to be able to prioritize those and focus on which ones first and which ones today versus which ones tomorrow. They all have to have their timing, and maybe some are better to do at a certain time of day or a certain point in the week, etc. So looking at those types of priorities, so put those most important tasks first and focus on them first. And then block out time. We've talked about this numerous times in our trainings. You hear about it on when we're at seminar, when we're at career conference, you hear about it on the hotline, about the Mary Kay weekly plan, right? And I should have brought up my calendar. My calendar is just different color highlighters through everything. Green is for go when I travel. Blue is for when I'm in town for Boise Blue, all of this kind of stuff. I block out my time. And so block out your time over these next 4 weeks, specifically for what you're going to do when. Okay, so it's really easy for us to sit there and say, well, I'm going to come home and I'll just do everything when I get home tonight. Block out that time. Say from 7 to 8 is when I'm going to do this. Okay, from 8 to 9 is when I'm going to do this. And as we'll talk about in a few minutes, definitely block out time for yourself. It's not just going to be all Mary Kay for the next 4 weeks, because then you will burn yourself out and you will go crazy. You need to block out self-care time and time for other things in there too. But make sure that you're blocking time for those things that are most important for you to try and achieve in the next 4 weeks as well. Because it's just way too easy to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it after I finish watching, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or whatever, and stuff like that. So stay organized. Whatever your method of organization is, if it's a to-do list, if it's, reminders popping up on your phone, if you have some kind of project management software that you utilize, whatever it is to help you stay on track, utilize it. And so I have numerous ones. I mean, some of you that were around a couple years ago when I talked about time management, I use any do that syncs with my personal computer. It won't sync with my work computer because they won't allow me to, but it also syncs with my phone and my Google Calendar. And so everything is on there. And so like all my doctor's appointments and all my Mary Kay appointments and everything like that. And then I have to input, but my personal calendar also goes to my work calendar. So everything is synced at least some way across all the different things. And so I get lots of reminders, which is sometimes annoying, but especially this time of year, it's necessary, because if I know that I want this push, and again, I don't have goals to be on Queen's Court. I don't have goals. I'm not in DIQ, but I always have a goal to do more in retail this year than I did last year. So I always have this last 4-week push. So I'm going to be doing these same things, maybe not to the level of Denise and April and Heidi and Kelly and Rebecca, et cetera, but I'm still working to beat myself from last year, right? Beating Jennifer from 2024 to Jennifer to 2025, right? And my sister, of course, And so don't stick that tongue out at me. So, I'm always trying to do better. And so I've got goals for myself that I am time blocking and organizing to do the best that I can by June 30th as well. Okay. Embrace that technology. So again, the AnyDo, utilize the systems that are within, again, reporting things. Unfortunately, we don't have the inventory tracking like we used to, but whatever it is that helps keep you organized for who you've talked to, who you need to follow up with, who hasn't ordered yet, all of those types of things for communication, for tracking your to-dos, any other thing that will help you with your workflow. Okay. We have a new data system at work and I don't completely trust it yet. So I still track everything on a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet as well, because I don't trust the new data system and its glitches just yet. So I, do a lot of that because again, I color code it all and it tells me when I do that with my Mary Kay folks as well, so that I know when I need to follow up with someone, and you can do that in touch as well. So do what works for you. Nobody says you absolutely have to use the in touch system to track when someone's last ordered. Whatever you're most comfortable with for technology or pen and paper. Okay. Okay. Here's an important one, if I can get it to go. Like you see, there's 6 things under this because it's the important one, is the motivation. Because again, it's super easy to get burnt out, to be like, I'm never going to get there. I've only got 4 weeks. It's never going to happen. Again, I've talked to Kelly when there's only, 48 hours left in a month that she's in DIQ, and she's like, I'm never going to get there. And it happens, right? And again, we've talked about what you think about happens, what you manifest comes about, etc. But reward yourself. Celebrate those successes, big or small, to keep yourself motivated. So whether that be I just signed up a new team member. I'm going to go treat myself to a latte. I'm going to go treat myself to frozen yogurt. I'm going to, you know, do whatever, right? Go for a walk while you listen to the hotline or make some of those follow-up phone calls, etc. Do something for you that rewards yourself for this hard work that you're doing. Go get a pedicure and be doing your emails while you're sitting there doing that if that doesn't stress you out too much to do the emails and follow-ups that way while you're getting the pedicure, because that would defeat the purpose if it stresses you out while you're getting the pedicure, right? Do positive reinforcement for yourself and for your team. I will say this over and over again is that, practice what you preach, right? And what you focus on increases. And so if you start to get negative Nelly, which we all do, especially when we're getting tired and burnt out, it is going to run into everybody else, right? I teach about this all the time about how it's called contagion theory, emotional contagion theory of if I walk into a room in a bad mood and I'm all grumpy Gus, it doesn't take long for all of you to start to get grumpy and be like, well, I don't want to be around her. And I bring all the mood down. But if I'm positive and I'm like, we can do this and all of that, usually that's going to bring up everybody else in the room. So even if you're struggling, do your best to positively reinforce yourself and be like, we're going to do this, we're going to get it done, and push that out to your team. Okay. Push that out to your customers. Help me get to this goal. I've got this goal and I know I can do it, but I need your help to get there. Right. Because if you're calling them up and you're like, oh, I really want to get there and I know I won't get there, but can you help me try? They're not going to be very enthusiastic about helping you get there, but you're like, oh, I'm so close. I know I can do this and you can help me. Right. They've got to hear that in your voice. And so having you be rested, having you rewarding yourself, having you be positive is going to pay back tenfold to you from your team, from your customers, and from yourself. Learn from your mistakes. So view it as an opportunity for growth and improvement and whatever else. None of us are perfect. Some of us are going to make mistakes. We're going to, oh, I should have done it this way. Oh, I should have tried to, upsell them to get this along with it. I should have, tried to get them to buy this with it, or I should have remembered to get that, or oh, I was $2 away from being at this level to get the $700, month prize, or, it happens. Learn from it, make sure it doesn't happen again, right? And even share that so that other people don't have it happen to them. But take it as a learning experience, dust yourself off and go. Because if you wallow in it, when we only have 4 weeks left, you're definitely not going to get there. We don't have time to wallow, right? You have time to be like, that really sucks. Give yourself a 20-minute pity party about it and move on. Okay. If we were at the beginning of the year, I'd say take a day, but we don't even have time to take a day right now. If you've got those goals, this is like the countdown to Christmas, man. Santa is coming. You better be good, right? If you want that prize on June 30th, right? We got to be the best of the best. So that's self-care. Again, take those breaks, schedule those in if you have to, if you're not good about it, which I am not good about it myself. I'm having to force myself. I signed up for a 21-day stretching with resistance band program just to force myself to take the 15 minutes a day to do it because I wasn't doing it on my own. So having to do it as part of this program and check it off on a list and report it in the Facebook group, it's making me do it. And so take those breaks, get that exercise, prioritize your well-being because it's going to show in your motivation, in your positive attitude, in everything you do for the next 4 weeks. Okay. So take care of yourself to avoid the burnout. Seek support. Okay. Connect with your colleagues. We're all here for each other. Yes, we're all going to be going a million miles an hour, but that doesn't mean we're not here for each other. You need a product, one of us has it. Yes, we're going to get it there to you so that you're that much closer to your goal. You've got amazing directors. You've got amazing resources of people that have been in for a long time. That's what Voxer's for. That's what all of it's here for. So seek the support from your mentors, your coaches, for that guidance, that encouragement, that help. Um, reach out to the rest of us for the product, for, where do I go to find this on In Touch? What do I tell my customer? I saw someone was on there about, I can't find, I think it was Kelly Moore saying, I can't find where this product is. What do I do? We need to all jump in and help each other right now because we're all trying to reach not literally the same goal, but the same deadline. And so we need to work as a unit, a group to get there. And so whatever it takes to get us all there. And that includes, our family members. We got our MK husbands and our MK friends and all of that kind of stuff. And so we need to get support from others to help us get there. Okay. Remember your why was probably one of the most important things beyond like the self-care is, why are you doing this? What is your long-term goal? Okay. What are you not only hoping to achieve by June 30th, but why are you doing this overall? Is it that freedom, flexibility, money, recognition, all of the above, that sense of accomplishment, that ability to be like, yes, I did it. Remember your why, and that will help motivate you to succeed. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. Write it on your mirror. It may have even been my sister that told me this at one point, but I remember I did it when I was going through a point in life where I needed motivation. Take a dry erase marker and write on your mirror, what your why is, if you need to, for the next 4 weeks. And then you can just wipe it off your mirror after June 30th and write a new one up there if you need to. But dry erase markers work on your bathroom mirror so that you can see it every day. Give yourself that high five every day that we've talked about before to keep yourself motivated. Okay. Motivation is going to be key, and taking care of yourself in that process is important. Managing those deadlines. So urgency is a great deadline motivator. Nothing gets us going faster to achieving a deadline than knowing the urgency. So we are in that countdown mode. So that any of us that have been dilly-dallying, being like, we got plenty of time, no more, right? We are in the FOMO mode of their seminar year. And so again, if we're looking to be in the top 10 of retail sales or wholesale or sharing or, wanting to be up there in front of the group when we do the unit awards, or if we're wanting DIQ or any of those things, the urgency is now there. It is coming down to the wire, and we are on that final stretch of that relay race or that marathon or whatever, and we have got to kick in the afterburners, right? And you see that someone that's just been going along and they've just been coasting, and now they're in the last mile of the race and they think they can't do it anymore, and all of a sudden they kick in those afterburners and they're like, I'm not losing this. I'm not missing out. I'm going to go do the 2 somersaults across the finish line and win if I have to, right? The urgency, the FOMO, the sense of urgency is a great motivator right now. Again, set those multiple deadlines if you need to. So take it into those small chunks, because sometimes it can seem pretty daunting to say, I need to do it $5,000 in June in the next 4 weeks. But if I say, okay, I need to shoot for, $2,000 this week. And then if I only do 1,500, I'm still ahead of the overall game, because then I can, still be going and getting to where I need to be. So make sure they're realistic, but set multiple deadlines and smaller tasks so that you can not feel quite so overwhelmed, and adjust them as you need to. Okay. No one expects you to hit every single target every single time. Even the Olympic folks doing the archery don't hit the bullseye every single time. Okay. Communication. Share those goals with other people. one of the most powerful things they always talk about when you're doing like weight loss or bodybuilding or whatever is that you share your goals with other people. If you say, my goal is to lose 10 pounds by June 30th, when you tell that to people, and then they check in on you and they say, hey, how's that going? How's that donut taste right now? Right? There's an accountability factor there. When other people know what your goal is, they can support you, they can help you, they can hold you accountable. Right? So communicating those to people. I know Kelly's in DIQ, so I can reach out to her and be like, how's it going? What do you need? What are you struggling with? Right? If I didn't know she was in DIQ, I'd just be like, hey, chick, how's it going? I wouldn't know what specifically to ask about. So when I know what your goals are, I can help support you. Okay. Um, Gamification. It's always a lot more fun when we turn it into a game, right? And this is why we do things like Mary Kay Bingo and all of those types of things is um, when things are a game, it's a lot more fun, right? This is how we get kids to pick up their toys, right? I will forever remember the Barney song, everybody clean up, right? When it's fun, it's easier to do. This is why we do facial parties instead of just emailing people saying, here's my catalog, bye, right? This is why we try and make things fun, right? So try and turn those goals into something fun. Maybe challenge each other, and not in like a super competitive way, but just, um, we haven't done one for a while, but the first person to sell so many skincare sets gets this, or something like that. When we have this game about it, it's a lot more fun. I know like Denise has said, okay, here's your teams, and the first one to get 5 bookings, gets this prize or whatever. It's a lot more motivating that way, right? So think about putting some of those goals into something that's a game between you and your team, or you and your other consultants, or something like that, that will help keep that motivation going and take kind of that daunting deadline looming off your plate. Okay. Reflecting and adjusting. So reflect on your progress, which we're not going to have a ton of time to do because we only have 4 weeks, but take time to evaluate your progress and identify your areas of improvement. So, at the end of the first week, right? So maybe on Sunday, as you're turning in that weekly accomplishment sheet, and there's always those questions on there that I usually breeze right through and don't even pay attention. I just go next, next, next. But when it's like, what are your goals for next week? How many interviews are you going to do? How many parties are you going to hold? All of that. Maybe take some time to reflect on that these next 4 weeks and be like, what do I really want to do next week? How close am I to getting to those goals I really want to achieve by the end of June? Do I need to do facials? Do I need to see if I can get in some parties, or, who do I need to follow up with that I haven't talked to? Do I need to do some sales to, sell some skincare sets to get some stuff out the door to get my sales up? Reflect on your progress at the end of each week so that you know what to push through for the next week. And from that, adjust your approach. If something's not working, be flexible and be willing to adapt it as necessary. And I think this is where it's important. We've always been really good at sharing ideas with each other, but I think it's really important these next 4 weeks that if we find something that's really working for us, that we share it, right? Especially for our ladies that are pushing for DIQ and trying to recruit some folks and everything, that if we've found a good, pitch or something, that we share that, because, again, everybody's got skin. There's tons of people out there. Nobody's stealing other people's customers or team members or anything like that. And so if I said, I tried this, it didn't work, does anybody have any ideas? I need to be flexible and adapt. And someone's like, I tried this and it worked really well. And it's like, well, that might not work with, the ladies I work with, but I'm going to give it a go, right? I mean, again, we've got different generations, we've got different areas, of the state, we've got different states, we've got all kinds of different things. And so adjust your approach and willing to be flexible and share what things are working and not working. Last section. Now, some of you don't have a team, but it sounds like everybody's starting to build one way or another. And even if you don't have a team, you are part of a team. And as I said, we need to be helping each other. And so even if you don't have a quote unquote downline, you know, we're all depending on each other the next 4 weeks. And so clear communication is important. So again, if we know what everybody's goals are, if we know that our top people are so close to getting those goals, and again, we're not looking to be Queen's Court, we may want to be able to step up and help do whatever we can to push them to get to, you know, where they are, right? They're the ones closest. We give them that extra push. So having that clear communication throughout our unit as to what people need, if I've already achieved where I need to be and somebody else needs that extra push and I can help them, I'm going to do it, right? So helping each other out, that empowerment, providing everybody with that support, the resources, and just being there for each other through everything. The recognition and the appreciation, we think that goes without saying in this unit. We do tons of it. But one of the things is a lot of times it only happens on Tuesdays. And I think what's important is over the next 4 weeks, even though it's going to be crazy busy, I would love to see Voxer blow up with recognition, appreciation, you know, and things like that of like, and we've been seeing it, you know, here's Claudia's, you know, party. Congratulations. Here's Kelly just did this big sale. Congratulations. You know, here's other Kelly's in DIQ, another mother. You know, I love seeing that and the momentum that it brings for everybody else, not just the person who's being validated, is amazing, right? So we want to see it blown up. Yes, Kelly Moore says we have such an amazing team and not just our own recruiter and team we built, but all of you are our biggest cheerleaders. And I know that's the encouragement I need. I almost quit at our 1 year, but the sisterhood, encouragement, and prayer warriors keep her going. So true. And Voxer is a great place to crow about successes and accountability. Yes. And it's one of those things too that if I'm busy at work, I won't look at it until I have time to. And then I can go back in and be like, ooh, you ladies rock. But I think it's a great place for us to really get that momentum going for the next 4 weeks, especially. Again, it's there year round, but I think, again, for the next couple of weeks, for sure. And then I bring us back around to kind of where we started about fostering that positive environment, about encouraging that collaboration and that teamwork and practicing what you preach. Because again, if you're like, I need $600 more in sales and you're getting the no, 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 it is hard sometimes to stay positive. And we need to be able to stay positive for ourselves, for our team, for the unit. And we know eventually comes the yes. What was it? I don't remember exactly what Bill Cantrell always said, but how many no's? You know, every no is how much money until you get the yes. And so, yeah. And so we just have to, no matter how tired we are, if you're tired, instead of turning negative, go take that walk, go take that hot bath. And while you're in the bath, do that to-do list or read some positive affirmations or, you know, think about that goal that you're going to go on that spa day or what you're going to do with your, you know, prize stuff or whatever it may be. And then think about on June 30th, we're going to celebrate everybody's accomplishments. You know, we're going to tally it all up and then we'll have the awards party in a few weeks and then there'll be seminar and then we get to do it all over again, right? But deadlines will always be there. But now we are in the home stretch. We're coming around the turn and everybody's going to start turning on the afterburners to get to the end. And we need to do it too. And whether you're just competing against yourself like I am, or you're going for getting on that stage, we all have a goal and we can all get there. So that's all I have.
Oh my gosh, can we give some feedback to Jennifer? That was fantastic. You hit on every single point. And one of the things that I want to validate about you, Jen, not only are you doing all the things that I said as I introduced you, but you have been there so much for your team, for Jill, for Kelly, as they're building, even though maybe your goal hasn't been to stretch to DIQ, you have been such an incredible support to your team members that you do have. And
Thank you.
you've been maintaining, team leader status. As we know, you don't always have 3 recruits and stay in your red jacket forever, but you've just continued to fill that funnel. But not only that, you're bringing around some interesting points, and I love that you're always so much about team spirit. So it's so good. Validation, you guys, things to share.
I loved your bullet points. Like that was so great. It made me be able to focus. I could understand what you were saying. I wasn't like trying to envision what you were saying, but it was just like to the point and fabulous.
So
Good. Because I mean, I like threw it together, but I'll get that and the notes out to Heidi to be able to send around for sure.
yeah. And your face, oh my gosh, sorry, but every time I see you, your face looks better and better and better.
Agreed.
Care enough to treat yourself to the best because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I think
Great.
that's one of the key things, though. It's so easy to focus on the deadline and not focus on yourself, and then you don't enjoy the win when you get there. So take care of you in the process. It's no fun when you get there. I mean, it'll still be fun, but it's not as much fun when you get there if you kill yourself getting there.
Yeah.
You won't want to ever do it again if you do it that way.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy the
So
journey.
work your
That's what it
tail off,
means.
but take care of it. Take care of yourself in the process and work your butt off.
Yeah. Great job, Jen. Thank you for your wisdom and your great training and your great use of slides, and just you're so professional all the time. And I just appreciate it when you share, because your perspective is different than mine and anyone else's. And it's just great to hear what have you've educated yourself, you've gleaned, you've grown, you've done all these things, and it all comes out when you teach. So
Thank you.
thank you. You're amazing.
You are pretty amazing. I just love it when you do your trainings and stuff, Jen, and you're so encouraging. I know you're so busy all the time, and I try not to bother you, but when you reach out to me, it means so much to me because I know you're so busy, but you still care and you're still in it for me, and you're always asking me how I'm doing and how it's going and stuff. And I just love how when you train us and everything that you always tell us what we all seem to need to know at the moment. It just is awesome how you do it. You pull it all together for that.
Thank you. Well, and I think a lot of this everybody already knows, but again, we just need it right now in this moment. We need the refresher.
Yeah. Heidi says, I always love it when you train, Jen. You are so inspiring and always do such an amazing job. You are such a natural leader.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have an inspirational close though.
That's okay. I think we're inspired to just run to the finish line. And I think your story, I think we all need to go check that out. That story about the track star that did some somersaults across the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's great. It's very cool. I think it was in Oregon, I think, so over the weekend. So that's pretty cool. Okay, wait, I have this here. I'll just read this right here. So this is from Mary Kay, actually, and it's from Denise. So I believe that every person has a capacity for greatness. God planted the seeds, and your dedication enables them to bloom.
Yes.